Britain learned early in World War II that noise was dangerous. Explosions could be planned, but gunfire could be anticipated. But a single, unexpected sound in the wrong place at the wrong moment could collapse an entire operation. Behind enemy lines, sound was not just a signal, it was a death sentence. Somewhere in occupied Europe, a night patrol moves through a narrow street. Boots scrape stone, a match flares briefly. Then, nothing. No gunshot, no alarm, no warning. What follows is silence. That silence was not accidental, it was engineered. This is the story of how Britain took one of the crudest weapons of the war and transformed it into something far more unsettling. This is the story of the Sten Mk IIS. By 1940, Britain was fighting two wars. One was visible, fought by armies, aircraft, and navies. The other was invisible, fought in alleys, rail yards, forests, and occupied cities. This second war required different rules. Agents could not afford firefights. Resistance fighters could not survive exposure. Commandos could not rely on noise, speed, or brute force. They needed weapons that removed obstacles without announcing themselves. Pistols like the Welrod proved silence was possible. Rifles like the Delisle proved silence could be precise. But Britain faced a new problem. What happens when one silent shot is not enough? Silent pistols were effective, but slow. Silent rifles were precise, but limited. Close-quarters raids demanded something else. A weapon that could clear rooms quickly, eliminate multiple targets, still avoid raising alarms. This was a contradiction. Automatic fire was loud by nature. Suppressors struggled with heat, gas, and sustained fire. Most nations abandoned the idea. Britain did not. Instead, Britain looked at one of the ugliest guns ever made. The Sten was never meant to be elegant. It was designed during desperation, cheap steel, simple construction, minimal machining. It looked unfinished because it was. But the Sten had one advantage no refined weapon possessed. It could be modified. Britain realized something crucial. If a gun was already crude, it could be reshaped without concern for aesthetics or tradition. The Sten would become a platform. Not for soldiers on parade, but for men who moved at night. The Sten Mk IIS was not an accessory upgrade. It was a deliberate re-engineering. A long, integral suppressor was fitted, not to reduce noise slightly, but to absorb it almost completely. Subsonic ammunition removed the sonic crack. Gas was controlled, redirected, trapped. The result was disturbing. Short bursts could be fired with no sharp report. Nearby enemies often heard nothing but movement. In some cases, the loudest sound was the bolt returning forward. This was not precision craftsmanship. It was functional terror. British commandos carried the Sten Mk IIS on missions where speed mattered more than elegance. Rail sabotage, night raids, urban ambushes. A room could be cleared before anyone shouted. A patrol could disappear without radio reports. A checkpoint could fall in seconds. The Sten Mk IIS was never about marksmanship. It was about momentum. Silence delivered fast. Gunfire warns. Silence confuses. Enemies found bodies without hearing shots. No alarms were triggered. No resistance was organized. Fear spread without explanation. The Sten Mk IIS did not just kill, it erased cause and effect. In war, confusion is as valuable as firepower. The Sten Mk IIS was never mass-produced, not because it failed, but because weapons like this were politically inconvenient. They belonged to a war Britain rarely admitted existed. A war of sabotage, assassination, and disappearance. The fewer that existed, the easier it was to deny them. The Sten Mk IIS proved something no army had proven before. Silence did not have to be slow. It did not have to be careful. It could be automatic. Britain had turned quiet into volume. History remembers explosions. It remembers battles. But wars are often shaped by what no one hears. The Sten Mk IIS was never meant to be remembered. It was meant to work. And it did. This is Hidden Weapons of History, where Britain's quietest weapons changed the way war was fought.